afternoon, everybody. A privilege to be with all of you today, and we'll talk about a subject of water, and then extending it to topics like embracing the brand with sustainability, becoming water positive. It is indeed a challenge not only to speak but also to share with you all what has been our experience at both Ambuja Cement and at ACC. Thanks to ET for inviting me to speak to you. The way we look at it in the last decade, the overall perception of sustainable development has seen a complete turnaround. Been in this industry for over 3 decades now, and I think I'm a witness to this turnaround. It is becoming clearer to all of us that organizations can no longer operate in the vacuum of their own existence, as the impact of their interactions with society and environment is rapidly increasing. And from this perspective, it's obvious that organizations that harness sustainability and measure it in intangible terms are more likely to seek and find value creation opportunities and achieve what we would call the inclusive growth, in which you also get for perpetuity a license to operate. To our mind, sustainability is becoming more important for all companies now, across all industries. And recently, we saw some of the surveys across the world, and I think 62% odd of senior leaders and executives consider that for an organization having a sustainability strategy is necessary to be competitive even today, and not only that, to also to remain competitive in the future, including topics like funding, share price valuations, and all is all now getting very closely linked with what is your approach to sustainability. So simply put, if I were to say, it's a business approach. When we talk about water, when we talk about sustainability, it's a business approach to creating a long-term value by taking into consideration how a given organization operates in the ecological, social, and economic environment. As the expectations of on corporate responsibility also increase, and as transparency becomes more prevalent, companies are recognizing the need to act on sustainability. Professional communications, which was one of our major topics yesterday, is good, and not only communication but good intentions are no longer enough. Now you have to really substantiate this with tangible evidence. So let me take you through what we have done in Ambuja. One of our sustainability initiatives is to work harder towards what I would call becoming water positive across the value chain. We focus on water stewardship and setting annual targets for water replenishment within and beyond the fence. So we are very clear there is something called within the fence and something called beyond the fence. And we are developing innovative techniques like, as example, modular curing to take our water stewardships not only in our factory or in our communities, but also at the customer sites where houses are getting built. What our basic understanding is that groundwater levels in 21 major cities, including Delhi, Bangalore, and Hyderabad, will dry up very soon, which will affect roughly about 100 million people. And just the news, I'm just hearing Mr. Mal and Mr. Agarwal, but I thought there was a news a few days ago that Wall Street began trading water for the first time due to fear of water shortage. I mean, that's how critical and that's how important this topic has become. Our country, I mean, as a country, India's current requirement is roughly about 1,100 billion cubic meters, and I believe it will go up to roughly about 1,200 billion cubic meter by 2025. And this means that about 70% of Indian population will be vulnerable to extreme conditions of both droughts and flood. And our studies have indicated that more than 80% of our river basins are water stressed now, as water demand surpass limited and shrinking supplies. To add to that is the deteriorating water quality, which has significant impact on human health and ecosystems, and high spatial variability in rainfall and increasing inter-annual variability in availability of water would lead many parts of our country to suffer, to our mind, huge economic hits as well. So absolutely, there is no time to lose, and of course, we all require a visionary approach. So there is one part is to expect that visionary approach and the work to be done by someone else, including the government. But I think all of us have to play our own roles, and that's where I think companies like Ambuja come in. Although our cement industry is not a water-intensive industry, we do realize its importance as a natural resource. So Ambuja Cement has taken several steps towards ensuring sustainable use of water, not only within our plants but also for the communities living around our plants. The journey, began not today. This journey became about 3.5 decades back in 1986 when we set up our first plant for Ambuja at a place called Podinar in Saurashtra, coastal Gujarat. The founders had a vision that as a company prospers, so should the communities. No business can succeed if the communities fail, and that was a kind of a basic idea with which we started working. And so we started this major community development work and reached out to them to understand the need of coastal Gujarat, and that need was very, very well articulated. It was one word: water. It was a center of, I think, every discussion. And if I look at my 35 years of minutes of all the meetings, center of all the discussions with the communities, which was facing consecutive droughts and excessive pumping of groundwater for agriculture, resulting in salinity of ingress from the seawater. And this gentleman called Bablu Bhai from the community kept telling us, we need salt in our food, not in our water. It is affecting our agricultural produce and our health, as many of us are suffering from high BP due to intake of salt in our drinking water. So our team knew that this was the issue to focus on, and immediately supported the communities in building water harvesting structures to increase groundwater recharge. While we started with about 5 villages in 1986, over the years now we have worked with roughly about 250 villages around this plant by developing strategic partnerships with government and donors who are interested in pooling the resources, contributed funding, technical expertise, and innovative ideas to scale the project along the like-minded partners and the government. With such success in our community development initiatives, we soon decided that we should strive towards being a water-positive company with two-pronged approach. Within our plants, which we call in-fence, and outside our plant, which is called outside fence. And this is the story that we did in plants. It was easier for us to reuse, recycle, sewage treatment, reclamation of mine-out pits as water storage and recharge structures. And this we have done enough, and happy to say that in Dow Jones Sustainability Index, Ambuja is one of the top companies now for being 8 times water positive. I think the major area of focus was there for outside the fence, where our role was not well defined of what can Ambuja as a company do for the communities and for 250 or 500 villages around our plants. And that's where I think we did 3 parts, and that I'm very proud to say. One was on water harvesting and recharge. Second was on drinking water source revival and creation. And more importantly, how to use water efficiently for agriculture in our plants. So every region that we operate, what we now do is to make sure that not only within our plant, but even outside our plant, in the communities around, we make people recognize water as a topic that should be given high focus, to understand that water harvesting or drinking water source revival or even water use efficiency in agriculture is no longer a topic of discussion, it's a topic for action. And that's where what as a company, Ambuja and ACC have done over last many years. And today, when we are called, when Ambuja is called 8 times water positive in the industry, it gives us great pride. But what I would like to remind everybody that this happened over 35 years of work, and therefore, even if we start today across India, this is going to take a lot of time, and we will require to really put in all efforts, policies, intents, and decision-making abilities to do what is the right thing to do for water. So thanks a lot, Isha, for giving me this opportunity again.